With the focus on the opportunities in this continent intensifying throughout 2025, it was no surprise that so many senior investment leaders wanted to gather in the Netherlands for SuperReturn Europe. And this time they were joined by a seriously big hitter.
Thank you. How is everyone? Everyone good? Nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me today.
World champion boxer Anthony Joshua, now an investor outside the ring, shared what he sees as the secret to success in both arenas.
You want to drive to be the best in what you do, so like research and so on. But I do think I try not to take too much risk. So even though sports you see so much reward, I think a lot of people that achieve great heights, they're still risk averse. So even with boxing, even though you see a knockout, it's because I was careful to make sure I wasn't the one getting knocked out. I slipped the punch. So a lot of people that probably do well in business, they probably say no a lot of times before they think this is the one that's gonna hit the jackpot. So I think that's where sports and business go hand in hand, is even though you want to win big, make sure that you play your cards and you're quite smart about the decisions you make.
Alongside a sporting champion, private capital's heavyweights gathered in Amsterdam with more than 500 LPs and 750 GPs from 50 different countries. And despite a macro environment creating challenging conditions in deal sourcing and fundraising, many were confident about the resilience of private markets.
The fund vintages that have been raised during very tough fundraising times have generally turned out to be among the better performing fund vintages. Should that surprise us? No, because there's less capital around and it finds better investments. So I'm not and can't make any predictions, but a lot of LPs feel, to the extent they can commit to funds, that this is actually probably a very good time to be doing so.
M&A volumes are up. They are up globally, quarter on quarter. They're up year on year. This sort of discussion we've been having sort of in the last 18 months about the floodgates are going to open again and we'll see this big flurry of activity, that hasn't happened, but volumes are up. And I think what it does is it frees up more flow of opportunity set from which we can then be hyper selective.
As well as hundreds of high-impact meetings and exclusive networking, a specialist summit day and agenda packed with leading insights allowed meaningful discussion of key topics, including the nuances of European mid-markets, increased interest in GP stakes, the ongoing challenge of liquidity, and the growth of private credit.
This increased volatility that's created is potentially very good for private credit, because as the public markets are potentially shut, the players that would normally rely on the public market, they would go into the private debt, and that will increase the deal flow as well, which we as LPs are happy, and potentially the terms will become more and more lender friendly.
When you think about the two key benefits of investing in a GP stake strategy, it's yield, and it's early yield, and it's consistent yield, and it's extreme diversification. And both of those points really tick a lot of boxes for investors in this environment where they are more liquidity constrained in other parts of their portfolio.
In an increasingly competitive landscape, the importance of AI, both in investment due diligence and within portfolio companies themselves, was also acknowledged.
If you want to be able to scale in this market, I think AI plays a role, particularly when you think about due diligence at the start of the process. We've heard in other talks at the conference that people are seeing thousands of deals a year and only actually investing in a handful of them. What does that mean? They need to use methods at their disposal to actually scale their analysis of those potential investments and then make their investment decisions.
The huge potential of private wealth and how it could contribute to the most impactful of investments was also explored.
When we think about the role of private markets in the economy, that is growing fundamentally, and so that is an important opportunity for clients to access.
There's trillions untapped there in terms of private wealth.
Absolutely.
A top-level week in Amsterdam with so many influential investors taking the chance to meet, discuss deals and get ahead of the very best opportunities that 2026 will have to offer.